Hello again. Just a reminder that the videos in this series reflect the IELTS levels 6+. To achieve success by the end of this series of videos, you should be able to use a minimum of 1,500 words, both written and spoken, as conversational Australian English. This would deem you to be competent at a competent level IELTS level 6. Focus here must be on coherence and cohesion, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, fluency, pronunciation and response, use of varying levels of English, Australian English, that is slang, colloquial, informal and formal, as the situation and topics of the conversations dictate. Please also note that the first 4 videos in this series for IELTS 6 are focused on aspects of grammar. Here's a quick review of verbs and tenses. For more in-depth information, please refer to my video, Verbs and Their Usage. Tense is the form assumed by the verb for indicating the time an event occurred or the degree of completeness ascribed to an event at the time of its occurrence. Time is described in terms of past, present and future. The degree of completeness is described in terms of indefinite, or sometimes called simple, continuous, perfect, or perfect continuous. Verb tense, therefore, comes in 12 forms, and in an irregular verb, such as the verb to lie, it has a specific form depending on the tense and the context of the word. This is explained specifically in the Verbs and Their Usage separate video. So, for example, it looks like this: the past, the present and the future. We have indefinite, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous in each one. 3 times 4 is 12, therefore 12 tenses. Here's an example for a regular verb, to jump. A simple past tense used to describe actions or events that occurred and ended in the past. Example, I jumped down from the wall. The past continuous tense used to describe ongoing actions that were happening in the past at a specific time. Example, I was jumping down from the wall. The past perfect tense used to express an action that occurred before another action in the past. Example, I had already jumped from the wall. Past perfect continuous tense used to express actions or situations that were ongoing in the past before another past event occurred. It emphasises the duration of an action leading up to a specific point in the past. This tense is formed by using the past perfect of the auxiliary verb have, that is had, with been, followed by the present participle ing form of the main verb. For example, I had been jumping down from the wall this morning. Present tenses. Simple tense or indefinite tense is used to express general truths, habits, repeated actions, or permanent situations. For example, I jump well. Present continuous tense used to describe ongoing actions happening at the present moment. I am jumping well. Present perfect tense is used to indicate completed actions with a connection to the present or experiences that occurred in the past. I have jumped well before this. Present perfect continuous tense is used to describe actions or situations that started in the past, continue in the present, and may possibly continue into the future. It emphasises the duration of an action or an event. This tense is formed by using the present perfect of the auxiliary verb have, that is has or have, with been, followed by the present participle ing form of the main verb. For example, I have been jumping well all day. Future tenses, simple future tense or indefinite, used to indicate actions or events that will happen in the future. In other words, I will jump tomorrow. Future continuous tense, used to describe ongoing actions that will be happening in the future. Example, I will be jumping tomorrow. Future perfect tense is used to express an action that will be completed before a specified time or another action in the future. Example, I will have jumped by the end of tomorrow. Future perfect continuous tense, which is used to describe actions or situations that will continue up until a particular point in the future. It emphasises the duration of an action that will be ongoing before another future event occurs. This tense is formed by using the future perfect of the auxiliary verb have, that is, will have, with been, followed by the present participle in form of the main verb. For example, by the end of next week, I will have jumped off that wall about 100 times. More on conjugating verbs. When a verb is conjugated, it can be shown by using the following personal pronouns. Please note, these are not nouns, but pronouns. That is, they are words that take the place of a noun. An example of personal pronouns include the words I, he, she, or it, you, we, or they. A finite verb is any part of a verb that can be used for saying something about something else in either a statement, a question, a desire, or an exclamation. A finite verb is so called because it is limited to the same person, grammatically speaking, that is, first, second, or third person, and to the same number, that is, singular or plural, as its nominative. This is distinct from verbs, that are not finite, that is, not limited to number or person, and that's grammatical terms, and are of three kinds: infinitive mood, you need to see the specific videos for this, a participle, sorry, I didn't give the example. The infinitive mood example is I wish to retire. A participle example is a retired teacher. Or thirdly, as a gerund, the example is I think of retiring. Regular verbs refers to the conjugation of any verb, and this means the verb pattern conforms to the same as other verbs in this category. For example, the verb to walk is regular because it conforms to the following pattern. Have a look at this. The simple present tense, I walk, he or she walks. We walk, you walk, they walk. Simple past tense, I walked, he, she walked. We walked, you walked, they walked. A simple pattern that's very clear. Irregular verbs, on the other hand, still refers to the conjugation of any verb, but the verb does not conform to the same form as other verbs. For example, the verb to do is irregular because it differs from all other forms of verb patterns. Simple present, for example, I do, he or she does, we do, you do, they do, sounds okay, till we come to the simple past. I did, she or he did, we did, you did, they did. Another example, the verb to be is irregular because it differs from all other forms of verb patterns. Simple present is, I am, but she or he is, and we are, you are, they are. The simple past tense, I was, but she or he were, we were, you were, they were. Correct usage also depends on whether the verb is being used transitively or intransitively, and some verbs can be used both transitively and intransitively. Transitive means passing on or passing over. A verb is used transitively when the action denoted by that verb does not stop with the doer, but passes on to something else, and that's known as a direct object. Transitive verbs can only be used with a direct object. For example, he shot the sheriff. The sheriff is the direct object of the verb shot. Sometimes a verb can be used transitively and have more than one object. For example, he shot the sheriff 100 times. So shot is the direct object of the verb, the sheriff is the direct object of the verb shot. But the 100 times is also a direct object of the verb shot. Now, here are some examples of verb usage that change the verb from being transitive, noted with a T, to intransitive, noted with an I. And remember, transitive has a direct object. So they open, transitively, the doors at 8 in the morning. But the doors open intransitively at 8 in the morning. He closed his shop, transitive. The shop closed at the end of the day, intransitive. Auxiliary verbs help form the tense or mood of a principal verb and no longer has its own power as a standalone verb as a result. There are only a small number of auxiliary verbs, and these are the forms of the following 6 verbs: have, be, shall, will, may, do. And the only 2 tenses that can be conjugated without using an auxiliary verb are the present and the past tenses. All other forms of verbs need the help of these auxiliary verbs. Note that the verbs to have and to be are always followed by participles, whereas the other auxiliary verbs are always followed by infinitives. Have a look at these examples. I have been at school all day. Have relinquishes its power in its actual sense or meaning of ownership to assist the verb been to form a present perfect tense. Again, have a look at the video. In our next video, we'll be doing a bit more grammar and also learning more vocabulary to help achieve your goal of IELTS level 6+. Please continue to watch the next videos where you'll learn more conversational English and extend your knowledge and skills in Australian English in reading, speaking, listening, writing and understanding. And can I also ask you, if this content has been helpful, would you please subscribe to this channel? Many thanks and hope you get to Australia one day.